Welcome back for Stage 2 Seabreeze Race Series Island Hop. Yes, I'm your host, Ty Diddy Sr., brought to you by the Quarter Ton Network. I don't like saying that. Also, I want to start off by saying thank you to my subscribers. I have about 275. Look, we got about 25 days to the end of the month, a little less than that. Come on, help me get up to, by July 1st, help me get to 300. Also, I want to thank everybody for the comments. I look forward to getting them. Thank y'all for y'all feedback. It really does help me out in all my races. Also, I want to say that I like this race series. This series must race. Last series, we had a lot of hills. Y'all remember last month? Yeah, we don't want to remember that too much. But yeah, this one's a pretty good one. It was a pretty much flat race. It had 2 hills in it. I want to say one hill was at like 6.8 and the other one was like 8.2. The one at 8.2, it really wasn't a high climb. It was just a consistent 4.5 to 5.5% climb. So that gave it more of a feel of hardness, but it really wasn't. And then at the very end, at about 877 meters, which surprised me, is a little hill which gets up to about 3%. It's not long, but it's just long enough so that it kind of nerfed a little bit of my momentum. So with that being said, and y'all understand where we at, well, let's get into this race, and we're off. And as we take off, you can see I get in the pack, and what I'm trying to do now is just stay consistently in the pack. This is a pretty flat race. Like I said, outside of the 6.8 and the 8.2, there wasn't a lot to do in this race, but just try to stay and conserve energy. My whole goal was just to conserve the energy. Look at my heart rate, I fixed it. It had been saying different things, but it was doing off the average. So I moved it back to just heartbeats per minute, and you can see it up there now. You can see my heartbeat, you see my power. I'm mostly, even though it seems like I'm getting out of front, I'm really not trying. It's what we hit a little negative because it's flat. I kind of, my weight kicks in and it kind of pushes me forward a little bit. But like I said, when we do hit a little climb, I feel that too. So as we come around here, we're on this first half, and I kept looking at, since I hadn't wrote this race, I wrote somewhat of half of this race, but I did not know where this race ended. And I did not know the power-ups, which I think ended up being, one power-up was a steamroller, and I don't remember what the other power-up is. I don't think I had it. It might have, it was draft. It was draft. I remember touching it. I had draft. So I ended up getting steamroller twice at the end, and I had to draft. And I think the steamroller would have worked out. I remember that now, because at the end, right at 877 meters left, there's a little hill that if I race this again, that's why I'm gonna hold a steamroller for 4. It's not a long hill, it's just enough that it nerfed my momentum a little bit. So as you see, we're coming around this thing, we're rolling really good. This was a really fast race. I don't know if I have the average speed up there. Right now it's at 38.6 miles an hour. Kilometers per hour. Sorry about that, y'all. But as we're riding, all I want to do really is just stay in that pack. And there's a couple of guys in here that I hadn't seen before. I think I've raced a couple of them earlier, but as far as where I was now, like I saw Grandpa Dave in here, he texted me that his Wi-Fi went out in the middle of the race. Man, I hate that happened to you, man. Grandpa, we'll see you again. You know I like doing these early morning ones. I'm gonna post this one today because I know people are gonna be trying it. I think they may have the community live today, so I'm not sure. So I know y'all gonna wanna race that. So this is probably gonna get posted about 8 o'clock this morning. So I am gonna put this up today. And then I got another one coming out Thursday night, which is the Tiny Race series. It seemed like people really enjoy those. So, and I redid the Tiny Race series. I did Class D, Category D. And the only reason for that, because they have a new VO2 system that they're using to set the categories. And I still didn't feel comfortable with E. So I moved up to D. And what I may do next week, depends on how this races look, I may try C. But C is just dependent, man. It's no big deal, but with the way they do the new system, I got to see where I'm starting to average out when I'm riding. That's the only thing about it. So as you can see, we're riding. Like I said, we wrote this thing. It was a really comfortable ride, man. You see my heart rate up there. My zone 2 is 130, 129 to 140. So you can see where I'm sitting at. I'm roughly zone 2 riding. So you could tell that I was enjoying the ride. I wasn't really hitting it hard. That's right there. I just hit I think I had I want to say I had steamroller. I wanted to see what else I could get. So I ended up getting, no, I hit draft right. I had the first draft and I ended up getting a steamroller right there. And with that steamroller, oh man, I guess it helps out some. I'm not sure, but I think it flattens out the road, which would make a nice little, I don't know. Like I said, I want to use it at the end of this race. If I get the steamroller next time, I'll hold it to the end. But the thing is with the steamroller is I worry that if it steamrolls the whole hill, will I get the inertia when it comes off? I need to set it so that it comes off when I'm going downhill so I can get the benefit of that downhill. So that's the thing I'm gonna have to contemplate with the steamroller. So now you see what I think about that. I try to inform y'all what I be thinking about when I'm racing these races. But yes, this is the first. This is the first hill, and it's not hard. This is not a hard hill. Look, it's 4.6. I think we max out right at 5 at the top of this thing. Now we almost to the top, but I think it's gonna go up to like 5. Yeah, 5.3, and then it starts to come down. So you see what I did was I powered through this hill. I powered through both hills, not letting anyone get too far ahead of me. I was determined to stay in. And by us riding on pretty much an even round flat, it made it possible to power these 2 hills. I mean, and that's the only reason that it was going to work out, because if I let them get too far ahead of me, even though I can get the draft down the hill, they would be gone. So and that's another thing that's helping me out a lot is that taking these days off in between the races, even though I may like racing 1 or 2 or doing a 20-mile race, if I take a day off in between races, my legs feel a lot better. So I'm starting to narrow in on how much to rest my legs. So that's really, really gonna help me out a lot. Now we on the second hill. No, we almost to the second hill. We just hit it. And you can see it's for the start climb there. It's at 8.2. This is where we're at now. We're on 7. And it's a little flat right there, but we're starting to climb the hill right about here. And you can see the numbers starting to change. And if you look on the map right there, you can see us going up the hill. Now the whole determination on this hill was it's not a steep climb. So that's the one, but it's a climb that can exhaust you. Look at my heart rate where it was before I hit that hill. Look at it now. It's at 148 and it's steady climb. Look at my weight balance. I'm burning through it because I have to put in this power to keep up. I'm in the negative again. And the only reason for that, I cannot come out of my power because they will pull away from me. So I had to stay into this thing. And trust me, I was looking at that hill going, okay, get us to the top, get us to the top. Boy, I said that. It wasn't, like I said, it wasn't that the hill was impossible. It was just that it was a consistent 4% hill climb, which causes you to burn. It's like a study of aerobics. You know, you're not burning hard, but you're constantly burning. And as we got to the top, I noticed that everybody else's heart rates was shooting up there through the sky too. And you can look at mine at 160. That's pretty high for me. And 170 is usually where I start peaking out at. So I kind of, by default, even though I didn't know the hill, by me riding in the pack for most of the race, saved me a lot. So as we come over this hill, we're looking at it now, we're getting at the top of the hill, we start to come down. I start to relax a little bit now. I could have put in a lot of power and tried to just lead people, but after coming up that hill, I didn't have the persistence to do it. Now, I ended up getting enough steamroller. Now, I should have used my steamroller at the end of that hill, but I did not do that. That would have helped at the end too. So as we come over the hill, I'm riding pretty good. We come down this hill. I'm not putting a lot into it. I'm just doing enough to keep my speed up. What I want to do now is, what I'm attempting to do now is, I'm not trying to burn myself out, even though I super tucked in this here. Once I get to the bottom, my goal on this hill was to get to the point where when we came off, I wanted to keep the speed up a little bit. I wanted them to burn a little bit of their extra energy. Now, we have been riding at a really consistent pace, especially for the lighter guys. I knew that they would be able to really push through. So I decided that, you know what? I'm gonna try to keep this thing, not without pushing myself too hard. I'm gonna try to keep this thing pretty consistent for the rest of the way out. And that's all I was trying to do here. And I got the ride, and I looked up and I said, okay, cool. I don't want to burn out. Now, that's the thing. Now, I looked at the top and I saw where the climb at. You see it says 111 meters. I knew this thing only had like 120 meters climbing. So I knew we were pretty much at the end, 115, 120 meters of climb. So I knew we were pretty much at the end. I just did not know where the last bit of this race was going to be at the last hill. If I had known, I think I could have got through that. It would really paid off. It really would have. And that's where these ReCon rides come in very important. Now, like I said, last week, I planned to do another race, but with me having to move my chickens out the coop and put them out move the chickens out and put them in a coop, and I had to move my garden around. I got my tarps and stuff down this weekend. I just didn't have the energy. Working in that 95-degree weather, I was lucky I did the tiny races, and I ended up doing them late that evening, but I ended up getting some rest. That's the only reason I did. So, as you see we come through here, I'm still trying to keep the pace up a little bit. I'm not trying to burn myself out. I just want to keep the pace up a little bit so that I can get them to burn a little bit more energy. Because I know we're going to sprint in the end. And yes, I don't have the double digits, but if I can hit the sprints just right, I can put a lot of power on a flat, which kind of evens it out a little bit. Not a whole bunch, because they still got that sprint power, but it evens it out enough so that I feel comfortable enough that I may be able to contend at the end. You can see that as we race this race. So I'm thinking to myself, I'm looking at the thing, I see 117, and in my head, I'm going, okay, cool. I think that's all the hills we got. That's what I really was thinking. And I saw we had 2.8 left in here. So now I'm trying to calm, I'm working on my breathing, look at my heart rate's coming down, concentrating on just staying closely in the pack, not letting nobody get too far away so I can attack whenever we get ready to. I'm preparing that if anybody attack at 2 kilometers, I'm ready to go. So I'm really all into this. Now I got another steamroller here. And I was like, God, golly. I'm like, I can use an arrow. I don't know what the emblem word is. It probably was drafting steamroller. So I'm sitting right here and I'm looking at the guy in front. That's Richard in front. And I'm sitting right behind one more person. And I'm just trying to maintain where we're at right here. This is the whole goal. I won't want to get out in front and take off. I just want to kind of maintain where we're at. I knew that if we got to the end and there was any kind of decline, I was going to have a great feel for this. And as I looked up there and I saw we were doing pretty much mostly flats, like I said, I thought we didn't have no more hills. And I did see where it said 122, so I figured we were just getting them little rolling hills here and there. I should have looked at the map and seen that little lump coming up. I really should have. But what has been happening is we've been making turns and those lumps will go away. So when we get around here, we're at 900 meters to go. Right here, we hit another hit. If I had powered into this thing just right, I would have won this race. Yeah, I let myself get surprised. Right there. This is what cost me first place right here. I let myself get a little surprised right there, and that really cost me. Because look at where I'm at now. But as we come over it, we started going to decline, and I started putting power in. I know we're getting close to the end of this thing. I should have powered through the rest of this race, but the front guy was just a little bit too far out there. I was trying to catch him, but he was just out there. So as we were riding, I'm like, okay, cool. I get behind this guy right here, and I was hoping that he was going to power through some more. And then another one came up, and I needed that right there. And you see, I needed him to get in front of me to give me a chance to catch up. And that's what we were doing. And I was, man, you could see I was rolling. And I was trying, I thought that second, but I ended up coming in third, man. Thank y'all for watching my videos, man. Thank y'all for being there, supporting me. I'm like I said, I'm gonna get this up today. Y'all have a great day. If you don't see no more of my videos, ride them.